Welcome to the Kurmi Administration Portal demonstration. Today I'm going to cover a few areas. First, I'll talk about how to manage services attached to a user. I'll then talk about going through an Active Directory sync to pull users in from LDAP. And then I'll talk about how to create a user from LDAP. And then I'll walk through examples of exporting data from the system. And then finally, I'll show you where the transaction logs are that show you what actions were taken on your system. First, though, a few key points about Kurmi. Number one, it is a single pane of glass environment, allowing you to manage multiple environments with one interface. Additionally, administrators can be limited to access of a certain location. So you don't have to have global administrators. You can have a location-specific administrator. For the ease of management of directory numbers, there is an inventory that can be populated based on location so that when you are configuring a user or a phone, you can select from a list of specific numbers at that location. So for the management of services attached to a user, first you'll simply click into the user that you are wishing to manage. And then from here, you can see the package of the user with all of their services attached. You can do things like modify using the pen icon. You can delete them using the X icon, or you can add them by using the plus icon. Each of those will bring up another screen depending on the action performed. For running an Active Directory sync, that is going to be a scenario. So you'd start a new scenario. You put a check in the Start AD sync, and then you click on the play button. This will connect to your LDAP servers and perform the AD sync. It usually takes about 20 to 30 seconds to complete. Once it is done, the users that sync over show up in the Directories and Active Directory menu. From here, you can select the user that you're wishing to set up by clicking into them. And then you click on the magic wand at the top. This will open up a form that allows you to select their services. First thing you want to do is you want to pick the location that they're going to be configured at by using the location selector. Here, you can either search for the location up here, or you can use the expanding tree to find it here. Simply click on the location and then click the OK button. Because this is an LDAP integrated user, the login, first name, last name, and email address have all populated based on what was in Active Directory. Next, click on the Quick button. This will quickly set the PIN that will be used for this user. If this were a local user, it would also set the password as this. However, because this is an Active Directory enabled user, it simply uses this as a placeholder as it is a mandatory field in Kurmi. After that, you need to select the services that you wish to assign to this particular user. In our example, we're going to provide a line and a Jabber client and voicemail. First, for the new line, click on the number selector here, which is where that inventory of numbers I had mentioned shows up. These are the numbers at the location that I selected. Red numbers are used, green numbers are available, and gray numbers are reserved. Simply click on the number you wish to provide. Then scroll down and select the services you wish to associate with this user. Again, we're going to be providing Jabber for desktop and voicemail, so I'll click on those two sliders. Then read through the various settings and verify that they are correct. In most cases, the default settings are acceptable. Once you are done, click the Apply button at the top. Once completed, this user is ready to go, and if they had a phone provision for them, they could plug it in and it would register to the call manager. Otherwise, for a Jabber only user such as this, they can now log into Jabber. For the example of exporting data from the system, there are a number of areas that you can do this from. Most of them are going to be in the Advanced Resources section. So for example, we can go here under the users, lines, and devices, And then we can click on the devices menu here. One thing to keep in mind is that the default filter has the belongs to a service no option selected. So we simply need to click the X on that to display all of the available objects in this menu, as you can see here. Now, to export these from the system, you simply need to check either this box here if it's a single page, or this box here if it is multiple pages. So we'll click on this one. And then using the extract icon up here, you can do selected components. This will extract those components into a CSV file. It is relatively quick. It only takes a matter of seconds to complete that. Once it is done, you can then open it up in Excel, and then you can filter it as needed. Now, for the transactions, since we just completed a transaction, we can go down to the report menu and the tickets section, and it'll show us a listing of all the transactions that were completed in this customer. So for example, the create package, or the quick create package up here for the Kurmi user. This is the user that we just created. So if I click into it, you can see the basic information, when it was done, who did it, and then down here, what was done. So as you can see, we did a modification of these user from the directory source. We created them as a user, and we assigned the line and the Jabber client and so forth. This is a nice way to audit what has happened in your environment for governance purposes, tracking of changes, and so forth. Additionally, there is a rollback feature. So if this were a delete and the delete was in error, we can click the rollback here and it will undo all the changes that were done. Thank you for joining me, and have a great rest of the day.